Yes lads, welcome back to another video on the IS200. Today is sort of a mechanical video for anyone out there who wants to obviously do their own mechanical work on their IS200. I can't see anyone wanting to take like a 53 plate to a garage and pay to get pads done. You might as well watch this video, buy them from Euro car parts and do it yourself. In this video I was going to do a brake fluid change as well, but I only have DOT4 brake fluid and this car actually takes DOT3, so I'll have to do that in a different video, get hold of some DOT3 brake fluid. But today all we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to change your front pads. I've already done the rear pads on this, which I should have filmed, but I was sort of in a rush. So yeah, the rear pads are literally well easy, by the way, if anyone's interested in doing them. You don't even have to take the caliper off. All you do is, there's like a back plate and a spring, and you take that off and you bar the piston back, and you can literally just, the pad comes out the back of the caliper. Don't have to take caliper off, but on the front you do have to take caliper off. So yeah, we'll crack on now. We'll get the car on axle stands and then we'll go from there. Right guys, so there's the first step done. As you can see, you jack it up on the chassis of the vehicle, which basically runs halfway back. Safest place to do it, strongest point of the car. So now we can go ahead and remove the wheels. Right guys, so the wheels are off either side. What I'd normally do when doing pads or distant pads or whatever is get a flathead screwdriver in the caliper and bar the caliper piston back so it's easy to remove them, but the way these calipers sit and of how low the pads actually are on this car, like there's literally nothing left, I can't do that. So what I'm just gonna have to do is remove the caliper as is and then wind the piston back when the caliper is off. You will need a 14mm for the bolt at the back, which is there, and then obviously to hold this from spinning you will need a 17mm spanner. You literally hold that and then you're going to undo the bolt. Right, so once you've found the tools that you need, you want to crack both the bolts off at the same time. So say if you undid the top one first all the way and then that one was fully tight and it needed cracking off, it might make it a bit harder, as depends how loose the caliper is, but the caliper might move with it, just makes it harder. But what I had to do was use a hammer on the ratchet and smack it, because they were actually tight as hell, but now they're literally finger tight. So we'll go ahead and remove these two bolts. So guys, the two bolts are removed now. The caliper should be loose-ish, but obviously there's still pressure on the piston within the caliper. So I won't be able to film this bit. I'm just going to use two hands unless you lift the caliper out that way and probably rest it on here. Also being ready to change the pads. Right, so the caliper is over there now, resting. Now we can see the pads. So there was something like this on the rear pads and I really don't understand what they actually do. As you can see, that one's snapped and obviously they're still working properly. You don't even actually need these. Like, I'm not going to put these back on because I think they're just absolutely pointless. There's nowhere the pad is going to go when the piston's on it, do you know what I mean? It's all locked in place anyway with the carrier. These actually serve no purpose and it's a bit of a shit design really. Like, what is that actually going to do in prevention to making your pads move or whatever? So yeah, it's up to you guys. Like, if yours are in good condition and you want to put them back to be safe, then go ahead, but to me, with mechanical knowledge and that, they serve no purpose. So now what I'm going to go do is get a flathead and just pry these pads out of the carrier. All you want to do is get your flathead and let you go in between the disc and the pad, push it out. Simple. Same for the rear as well. literally just push it out, comes out, job's a good one. As you can see, these are absolutely knackered. There's literally no pad left on them whatsoever, literally metal on metal. Good job I spotted them now, because I couldn't be arsed putting discs on them. Right, so here's the new pads. Each are brake pads, literally the cheapest thing you can get from Euro. Let me just show you the difference between the ones we took off and the new ones that we have. As you can see, it's fuck all on that, rubbing on metal, and that is how big your pad actually should be. So yeah, if your pads look like that, watch this video and get them changed. It's also useful as well if before you put your pads on, if you have some copper grease sitting about, or you're going to do this job and you want to go buy some, it does sort of help with the operation of your pads. Literally just put them on either side there. Don't put a lot on, because obviously if you get it on your pads you'll never get rid of it, and it won't work as effective. But yeah, you just put them on either side where the pad is going to sit in the carrier. And now we will go ahead, and I don't actually think it matters which way these go in. Obviously one side's got a clip on it, the other side doesn't, and you're literally just going to fit it into place and sit it within the carrier like that. Same goes with the other side. Then you go turn it around and you sit it in place. This one's a bit trickier. There you go, sat in place, brand new pads installed. It's literally a reverse of what we just did, but first we need to push these two pistons back. You can either use massive grips for these if you have them. I actually don't know where mine are at the moment, so what I'm going to use is this tool. What it does is it pushes back the pistons, but because of dual pistons I'm going to have to line it up and sort of try and do them both at the same time, because normally what happens with these is once you push one in, the pressure will go to the other one and push the other one out, and you'll basically never get them both back as evenly. So I'm going to go and do that off camera now, as I won't be able to film and do it at the same time, and then I'll show you what it looks like before the caliper goes back on. Right guys, so just a bit of an update on the job. So let's start with this, right? So if I show you these pads that came off this side, they're literally metal on metal, there's fuck all after them. And let's obviously assume that the left and right front pads were changed at the same time. These are the pads that came off this side, right? And there's quite a bit left on them, to be honest. So I had trouble pushing the caliper back on this side. And what's happened is, this caliper is seized, so this one's alright, but this one is seized, and therefore that's why these pads have worn down a lot faster than the other side, because they've literally been stuck on and they've just been fucking wearing away. So that's why these are on metal and the other side are alright. So I'm going to go out now and get a new caliper, change the caliper, and then we'll finish the video on putting the caliper back on. I've already done the other side. Obviously the other side is exactly the same as this side, you just calipers based on the other side, so you're looking at caliper there instead of the caliper there. Completely simple. But yeah, if you have an issue like this, even if you're watching this and you don't own an IS200, on one side of your pads are going down a lot faster than the other side, I'd say consider changing the caliper on the side that the pads are going down on really fast, because 9 times out of 10 you will have a seized caliper and it will need changing. Right guys, so it's getting late now, I'm not going to be able to film me swapping the caliper over, so I'll just show you new pads in there, dead easy. Smack your wheel back on, make sure they're torqued up and make sure these two bolts are tight, and just take it for a road test before you normally drive it, just to make sure that your brakes are working. The last thing you want to do is go drive off, you've done something wrong and your brakes fail on you. So just road test it on a side street or something anywhere close to your house that's quiet, and if not, just be cautious when you drive it for the first time. said, I'm going to end the video here. Going to sort this caliper out now, which costs quite a bit of money from Euro, but oh well, it's got to be done on it. But yeah guys, I'll be doing more videos like this, maintenance as well as upgrading the Lexus to something special. So yeah guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see future stuff on the Lexus and other stuff going up on my channel, and I'll see you next time.